Hello. Yes, we welcome you back to PSSB, Physical Sciences Silver Bullet, and it's me, Richard here. Okay, this one says that a motorcycle, mass of cycle and rider is 270 kilograms. It's traveling at steady speed of 30 meters per second. The force of air resistance acting on the cycle is 240 newtons. Okay. Calculate the power necessary to sustain this speed on the horizontal road. How do you go about this? Okay, first of all, you have to take note. They said steady speed. So every time that aspect comes in, constant velocity, it means that we are inclined to have to use this. Okay. Then let us check what we have. Okay, we are calculating power. We don't know it. Okay. FA, we don't know it. But we know V. And what is V? V is 30 meters per second. So which means that the only part which is stopping us from getting our power is FA. Once you have FA, we have the velocity, we'll have the power. So this pushes us to the free body diagram. Okay, this is our assumption. It's a horizontal road. So we'll have this one as our motorcycle. If we assume it's traveling this side, so let us look at the forces which we know. We know the force applied, created by the engine, and we know the resistive forces which are acting opposite to displacement. So if that's the case, then we this comes what? You know that F net is equal to MA. But you have to remember that velocity is constant. And constant velocity means acceleration is zero. What does that mean? That F net is zero. So if F net is zero, then we can also have F net in terms of the forces we are having. Remember, F net is equal to sum of forces where the body is going, which is Fa, minus sum of the forces where the body is coming from, which is Fk. And remember, F net is zero. Fa, it's what we don't know, but we know our resistive forces. They are here, 240. From here, what do we see? We are going to have Fa known, and it is 240 newtons. So if that is the case, then our deal is done. You go back to our equation. You come here. Now you know Fa. And what is it? 240 newtons. So what are you going to say? You're going to say power is equal to Fa, which is 240, times V, which is 30. What you get is going to be our power. And the answer is this. 7,200 watts. Yeah, so comes this question. It says that a motorcycle of mass that is traveling at a steady speed of 30 meters per second the force of air resistance acting on the cycle is given. And the question says that calculate the power necessary to sustain this speed on inclined surface at an angle of 37 degrees to the horizontal. Okay, let us look at the question, what the question wants. What does it want? It wants power necessary to sustain this speed, constant speed. You have to take note that every time you see those conditions, it warrants us to use this formula. Power is equal to FA V. Okay, let's check what we have. Do we know V? Yes. Our V is 30 meters per second. Okay. What else do we know? That's all. We don't know FA. But FA is calculatable. Okay, let's look at the scenario. This time around, it's incline. So that's our incline. And the cycle is going upwards at a steady speed. So here you have to use your imagination. This is very important. That there is no way under any circumstance a body can be moving upwards, up an incline with a steady speed without applied force. It is simply not possible. So every time you have an incline and the body is moving up with a steady speed, expect applied force to be there. So we have applied force. Okay. So after that, what other forces do we have? We have the resistive forces. Let us call them FK. They call them resistive forces due to air resistance. They simply serve the same thing. They drag the car. Which other forces do we know? We know the parallel component of gravitational force there. We can ignore other forces because these are the forces of importance in this case. So what do? We are looking for applied force. And there's something very important here. They said steady speed, which is constant velocity. So what does that mean? You have to know that every time you have velocity constant, you as a scientist, what comes to your mind? That acceleration is zero. So if acceleration is zero, we have to remember that from Newton's second law, it means that F net is zero, because the F net is equal to mass times acceleration. But if you get F net in terms of force, what does it say? You have to remember that F net is equal to sum of forces where the body is going, which is Fa, minus sum of the forces where the body is coming from. So that's the scenario we are having. But you have to remember that F net is zero. Okay. Fa is wanted. Okay. We know that Fg parallel is mg sine alpha on assumption that the angle of inclination is alpha, then minus Fk, or F resistive forces. So if you substitute in this, what do we get? You're going to have our zero, force applied wanted, the mass of the cycle and the rider is known, is 270, times our g sine, what is it? The angle of inclination is 37 degrees. Okay, minus resistive forces, which is 240. So from here, you are going to have our Fa, which is equal to what? Because all those ones are values. Fa is the only unknown. So that is it. We have our Fa. and it was the only missing piece to calculate our power. So what do? You say power is equal to FA, which is 1,8, 32.40 times velocity, which is 30. What do we get? So that is what we get. It is 54,972.08 watts. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time. The channel is PSSB, Physical Sciences Silver Bullet. We are not going to get tired of reminding you to subscribe, to comment, to like, to share. We are simply the best. See you then. Bye bye.